Well, good morning and welcome to Mormon Times. In his closing remarks during General Conference earlier this month, President Thomas S. Monson gave wise counsel on becoming better neighbors and citizens.
I admonish you to be good citizens of the nations in which you live and good neighbors in your communities, reaching out to those of other faiths as well as to our own. May we be tolerant as well as kind and loving to those who do not share our beliefs and our standards. The Savior brought to this earth a message of love and goodwill to all men and women. May we ever follow his example.
Well, teaching our children to be kind and loving to those who do not share our beliefs is an important task for every parent. Parenting experts Richard and Linda Eyre join me now with ideas on how to communicate this important value in our homes. So what would you say is the key to helping kids respect those with other beliefs?
First of all, it's great having President Monson be our lead-in. We should do that all the time.
It is good.
Exactly.
It kind of sets it up.
You know, and next of all, what you said about teaching your children, it doesn't just naturally come. I mean, there are some children that are obviously just naturally kind, but you have to sit down and teach them in a meeting, at a dinner time or whatever. You have to teach them how to be kind, how to look for people that really need their help.
And so it's not something you leave up to the church or to the schools or anything.
No.
It's something family, parents need to deal with.
And I think you can start very young, Michelle. What I love to do, get some magazines or even just get online and show kids pictures of someone that's very different than them. And you can just thumb through any magazine and you can say, what do you think you have in common with this person? And you're picking someone that looks like he has nothing in common. And see if that little kid can say, well, we're both children of God. I mean, you know, the kids will surprise you what they come up with. And then say, what do you think you believe that he also believes? And they'll say, well, I bet he believes in God, and I do too. You know, so you're establishing commonality. And then say, what do you think might be different about him than you? And see if they can tell you, and then you're in a position, is that a good thing?
Right.
Is it bad to be different? And of course they'll say no. And it's almost like you're role-playing it. Now when they meet a person like that on the street, it's like they've already practiced what to say.
I have been talking to my hairdresser this week who's not a member, and her children are not members, and I said, tell me about your experience. And she said,
here in Utah.
It's in Utah. It's really hard. She said, our kids do not, my boys did not feel comfortable at Scouts. They went for a while, and the leaders as well as the kids were not. And she said, my son is having a hard time dating. He's a beautiful boy, darling, popular, but there are a lot of times when he's refused dates and not invited. The kids are not invited to birthday parties. You just think, how can we be Mormons and Christians and not include them? So it does need to be taught. We actually went to Virginia once for a year and a half, and we had a sophomore in high school who was so lonely and out of it. I mean, you know,
he was the odd man out.
He was the odd man out. And he said on the way home, he said, one thing I learned from that, I am never sitting by anybody that I know in the lunchroom. Again, I am looking for somebody who needs help, who looks like they need a friend. It's just kind of a training process that you look for those people and then do something.
And see, I want to emphasize, Michelle, it's more than teaching them to be tolerant. You want to train these kids to look for people who are left out or who are different and to be the one to go over and talk to them. And usually other kids will follow them.
And not only teaching a respect when it comes to beliefs, but just to respect people.
Exactly.
Yeah. And to respect everything. Let me just say, it's just a simple sheet of paper where it's a who and how chart. Who should we respect? And they'll tell you. They'll say things like nature. They'll say people who are different than us, and then how do you do it? It's getting them thinking, because kids aren't disrespectful because they're black-hearted little devils. They're disrespectful because no one ever taught them how to do it.
Yeah, we used to challenge kids at dinner, go out and find somebody that is different than you, and then especially people who aren't members of our church, and then we're going to talk about it Sunday. What did you learn from them? And include them rather than the excluding.
And not just with little kids, but also with your teenagers.
Especially teenagers.
Yeah, especially teenagers.
I think the mistake parents make is they don't start early enough, but then they think they've already taught it and they don't have to keep teaching it. This is something you have to teach all their lives.
You know, even in family gatherings, I have a friend who, when they have a family reunion, she has one of the kids, one of the families has 3 teenage girls, and they just go off on their own and exclude all the other cousins because they just haven't. And there's a little cousin that needs them so much. You know, she's shy and needy, and they just don't see it. So training our kids to look for that, even if it's on our own family.
And be the example. Boy, if they see you going up to a stranger,
then they'll
do it too.
Thanks so much. Appreciate that. And the Eyres have developed a complete family home evening lesson plan on this and various other topics. We'll have a link to their Values Parenting website on our website at mormontimestv.ksl.com. We'll still